All right, we're good to go. Welcome, everybody, to Townhall meeting number 107. It's July 23rd, 2024, and today we're being joined by Zalfred, Amayo, Ayo, Collie, Jeffrey, Love, Philip, Sergio, Sugar and Spice, Funny, and William. Thanks all for being here. I expect, as per usual, some more people dropping in over the duration of the call. There you go, 2 in the waiting room. We'll have Daniel and Hogan joining in as well. Amazing. As you can see on the screen, a very concise meeting agenda today, starting off with 2 short mentions. And the main portion of the Townhall I want to spend on retrospective session on the Q3 budget governance, how the process worked and what we can learn, what went well. We'll do that in a bit with a Miro board. We did this also in Q2, and yeah, that will give some. Hopefully, we'll give some nice insights, and we can compare, right? Yeah, we did a retrospective in Q2, so that gave some learnings. Hopefully, we applied those. After that, if there's any time remaining on the slot, there's space for open topics. Then a quick reminder, and for the new faces in the room, what the ambassador program even is and what we do. Basically, we're a bunch of like-minded individuals that are in tune with the mission and vision of SingularityNet and its ecosystem, and yeah, trying to contribute to that. We have a wide variety of self-organized work groups on all kinds of topics, and yeah, if you're interested in helping out, we do have a work group suited for you. Do hop onto our Discord server. You'll find the Getting Started channel there, and that channel will get you started. Then, before we dive into the main topic for today, 2 mentions. Yesterday, there was a new press release on basically a status update on the tokenomic merger of the ASI Alliance. Short summary would be, and I'm probably going to butcher the summary. There's an article on all over the socials that gives the best overview. But pretty much due to regulatory hassle, the ticker rename to ASI, that's for now pushed aside. It will change into ASI eventually, but we decided to not want to wait for that. It would be months and months of uncertainty within the community. And other parts of the phase 2 of the merger will be coming within weeks. So, for example, Cardano native migration, migration from Binance Chain, that sort of yeah, these parts of the merger will be coming shortly, but the ticker change to ASI, that will be quite a bit later. But we decided to not want to wait for that. So for now, the project name, as you can see on like CoinMarketCap and similar websites, the project name will be ASI Alliance with the ticker FAT, because right now, and this is live since July 1st, you're able to migrate your AGIX and Ocean tokens into FAT token. And yeah, that contract for the foreseeable future will keep using that. Then earlier today, we had a pretty awesome press release / announcement on, let me put it in the correct words. It's basically, we did a $53 million investment into hardware. And this is used to build a supercomputer, and that will purely be focused on all the work we do and the research we do towards building AGI. That is still ongoing, I believe. It started an hour ago. A live stream with both people from our side, Janet and Sergey, and also Theo Valig from EcoBlocks, which is basically they're a partner with acquiring this hardware. So yeah, do check that out. It's super interesting, and it really paints a very solid picture on what the future will bring in, yeah, basically in all our efforts towards building AGI. And yeah, I think with those two out of the way, it's time to move to the bigger topic of today. I will stop sharing the slides and move to my board. I see a request for the link, Vanessa, in chat. I'll put it in a bit, but it's also on blog.singularitynet.io. It's the latest post on the blog there. Let me grab the Miro board. There we go. Yeah, basically, what we want to do is for everybody in the room that wants to, and especially the core contributors in the room, to have a little check for the budget process. And we're looking for your input, basically. What worked well, what didn't work well, and what are suggestions for the upcoming quarter. As said earlier, we did the same after the Q2 budget process. And yeah, it's just a way of capturing feedback and lessons to be learned. So yeah, I do call out core contributors because in the current setup, and I think that will remain for a bit, the core contributors are the ones that have the governance power to consent or not consent on budget proposals. I think most of you are aware with the budget sheet. Let me try and click the right button. There we go. Basically, this is the master sheet of all of our budgets. As you can see on the bottom, it covers 4 quarters now. And actually, just for illustration purposes, have a little look at how cute the Q4 2023 budget looked. Just so concise and a couple of iterations later, we started to suggest that people make quarterly reports. We have full proposals rather than just requesting a number. Quarter after that, even more reports. I think pretty much every work group in Q2 had their report, and starting in Q3, which we just concluded. Well, not the quarter, of course, the budget for the quarter. We now have a mandatory quarter report. So yeah, the sheet in itself is also quite a nice source of information. And yeah, basically for a bit of context setting, you can become a core contributor. This is basically open to anyone. It's based on contributions and participation in everything that happens within the ambassador program. And I believe it might be on this. I'm not sure if it's on this slide. I think the total amount during this iteration of core contributors is 51 of us. So that's quite an awesome number. Yeah, we will get higher numbers in the future. I'm quite sure. Let me quickly take a look. There was a bit of an outline. Show the consent form. I can do that if the buttons work. Yeah, so basically what happens every quarter is people will the proposals will get fed into the sheet, and then the consent forms are published. And all the core contributors, they get to check the proposal and then fill in whether they consent or not consent to the proposal for this specific work group. And yeah, it's relatively straightforward. You put your Discord name, you put whether you consent or not. We just go ahead and do it. You can select whether you consent. You do this if it's safe to proceed. You can choose to not consent if you think it's harmful to proceed, or you can abstain if you feel like, okay, I don't want to take part in this decision. And yeah, if you consent, there's still you do need to click a button on the email address. Basically, after consenting, there's a check like, do you have any concerns you want to raise that are not strong enough to make you block this proposal from proceeding, but that is still important to capture, be addressed, yeah, to create awareness on. And yeah, as you can see, once this, there's usually about a week, and for the Q3 process, we had a short timeline for completion. So I believe it was initially 4 or 5 days. We tally how much people do consent, how much people object or don't consent, and how many people abstain. We also capture the concerns raised, if any. And then basically what we do is we go through a new round of consent checking. So we give the work group the opportunity to check out, sometimes it's quite a lot, to check out the objections and yeah, explain like why they either think this is wrong or what they want to do to accommodate to fix this concern. And yeah, we have a call on it. We try to figure out how to sort the concerns being raised. And yeah, that results in like if there's 0 objections, like 0 people saying no, I don't consent. Well, then we proceed with the proposal. It gets approved. We note consensus is reached. If there's people objecting, we try to solve it in a call. As you can see on this specific situation, consensus was not reached, but we solved it in a governance workgroup call. Sometimes consensus is not reached in this round. Then we proceed to a second iteration. And this is below. So basically, it's a big sheet, but at the top, there's all the work groups in the first iteration. Then there's a new iteration for those that don't make it. Basically, the process repeats. Hopefully, the no consents become less. And there's a final, third round after that. If there's still people, still work groups not reaching consent. And at this point in the third iteration, if there's a 80% majority that agrees, so for example, 5 or 4 or 1 are against, this is higher than 80%. Therefore, we go ahead and the proposal can be executed. We did take a big lesson there in, and also, well, maybe not a lesson, but how to say, basically to really take proper care of the concerns being raised and also carrying them over to the following quarter. So even though a proposal might have more than 80%, the concerns raised, if there's still any remaining, they will be also considered in the upcoming quarter. Okay, that's way too long of a context setting, but basically that's how our consensus process works, I think. And please, a quick check in the room if I'm skipping on anything important here. Do chime in. I might very well skip on something. I tried. Yeah, I think it's a decent overview of how the process works. Yeah, and basically what we do over time, as you could see in the different tabs of the different quarters, over time we try to improve this process and get it as smooth and efficient and effective as possible. While at the same time, of course, creating space for people to raise their concerns if there's any. Quickly checking chat if I'm missing out of stuff. Yeah, indeed, Vanessa, as you put it, if you're not in the core contributor list, next time it could be you. So the way this works actually is also good to include here. Every time there's a governance decision, we basically do a new output of the database of all the contributions. So if you then make the mark, yeah, if you make the mark on the limits we've set, so, top of mind, I think it's 12 hours of contributions and 6 hours of participation, but I might have that the wrong way around. I think I do actually. So 12 hours of participation and 6 hours of contribution. That qualifies you as a core contributor. Alternatively, if you are doing stuff that's not being recognized, you can self-nominate, and you can also nominate other members to become a core contributor. Thanks, Vanessa. Yeah, that's great to share. That's let me actually take that to the screen share as well. So this document outlines what the current requirements are on becoming a core contributor. And yeah, basically every time there's a governance decision, we refresh the output. This also resets the self-nominations. And yeah, in that way, every time there's a decision being made, it reflects the most recent status, like the most recent contributions we recognize in that way. I think that's pretty much an overview of how everything works. So yeah, yeah, as you can see, I'll read it out regardless. But this Maraboid will remain open after the Townhall. Let me go ahead and put the link in chat. It should be open to contributions, but do let me know if you're unable to go onto the board. It will remain open after this Townhall, and then I think should be for about a week, and then we collect all the feedback and process it. And what I'd like to do for now, at least, during this Townhall, is actually going around the room and checking in with people. As you can see on here, it's completely optional if you want your name attached to your feedback or not. So yeah, that's completely up to you. And during governance earlier today, we figured that both Love and Ayo, I believe, will be facilitating this portion, and I'll try and keep up with typing on Maro in the meantime. I have to admit that I forgot who would go first, but either Love or Ayo, it would be all yours to take away.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Peter. So I'll go first, and then I'll do 20 minutes, and then Love Tom. All right. So so nice to be here. I hope everyone can hear me clearly.
Sorry, just
I've joined.
just not to interrupt, but could you check if your microphone is properly doing its thing? Because it sounds a bit, I'm not sure how to call it, but
Oh, okay. Let me check because I'm actually connected on two devices.
oh, this is
Just to make sure.
already. Yep.
Is it better now? All right, I may have to.
Yeah. It's good now.
All right. Thank you so much. All right, so yeah, so we just take this as quick as possible. Everyone has a few minutes to respond, and we are going for the bravest first of all. So who is going to go first? You have the opportunity to have your name on the board, or you could just say no, I don't want my name there, and then you will be anonymous, except of course in the memory of the people in this meeting. So who wants to go first? Or do you want me to mention names? Do you want me to call? All right. Okay, so by the power vested in me, I'm going to start calling people. I'm not calling, but I know that it usually starts like that. People don't want to be the first to go for things like this. But yeah, I mean, you can start with what worked well. That's a good one. And then you can say that you come back to talk about what didn't go so well. So maybe we should just start with what you consider something that worked really well for the Q3 budget consent iterations. So yes, Love, maybe you should go first. You have to lead by example. When is your turn? You can call me first. You can call me first. When is your turn? So I mean, I think we have to lead by example. So yeah. So Love, what do you think worked well for the Q3 budget iteration?
I think I'll just wait for Guillermo to go first because I can see his hand up. I don't know if I pronounced your name
Oh,
well.
okay,
I'm so
okay, all right.
sorry.
Oh, that's fine. Oh, sorry, Guillermo. Sorry. Please, Guillermo, you have the floor. Safety by.
Hey, your Love, yeah, you pronounce it perfectly. Sorry, I jump in. I'm gonna be having to jump off in 10 minutes. So in my case, you're gonna have a solid. Not everything went well, but we excel. As we committed to the deadline, that put pressure on us, and pressure, I'm not going to say it's always good, but it brings the better of you sometimes. So we did a great improvement. So you can put on that a great improvement on the deadline. And then what other thing went well? Then I will jump later on. Other thing that went well is that this process we are building and redesigning and reshaping and evolving made us review our internal process fast, efficiently. And in our case, I'm part of a team of 2 guilds. It brought substantial positive results, meaning we were able to find mistakes. There was a lot of room for improvement. And yeah. So the process helped us to improve. We want to put it in 3 words. And it helped to reshape our own internal process. So all of us, all the guilds and work groups have their own ways to go, governance. But this kind of mandatory, let's say, melody is going to put all of us in the same tune, and it's going to help us to be more efficient in terms of a wider organism. So even if it brings certain frictions and certain pressure and certain discussions, they were all, I think, positive, not only in the R&D or the LATAM Guild. It made us watch and learn from all the other work groups and guilds what has been doing well. In terms of the proposals, in terms of budgeting, how we budget, how we communicate, how we present to the other guilds. And finally, the most important thing is helping on this strategic communication. We are learning to listen, to be empathic, and to have this open governance in a better and, say, respectful way. I really enjoy the governance meeting. Even though you're going to say we spent a lot of time discussing, yeah, it was a proof that this can really work. On the bad things, yeah, we spent probably on the next one, we're going to improve it. There were no, well, yeah, there was something that probably not the bad, but the suggestions will be how we design reshape the last process after concerns. So we are more concrete. We went through what? How many governance calls? 5. I think we can do it on 3. We create and design just the last process, redesign the last process of how we present concerns and how we address them. That will be. And thank you for the time. Great.
All right. Thank you, Guillermo. Thank you so much. Love, we can have you now. I see no hands yet, so it's back to you. And then I'll be calling Super Spies next. So I want that to be ready. I'm calling her because she was my one-on-one body mentor when I got into the ecosystem. So I have some type of right to call her. I have some type of right to call her. So Love, I think you can have the floor now. Love.
Well, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Loud and clear.
All right. Oh, I don't know. I don't know about every other person, but I kind of liked the deadline because even though it didn't go the way we planned it, but the deadline did make some people make haste, to put in things on time. And I know some people say that deadlines makes you feel pressured and whatnot, but yeah, it did work. And I like the results that came from it. Now, what I didn't really like was the fact that the budgets that were not consented to on time delayed everything. There was supposed to be some kind of budget fitting. So we the work groups that had our budget approved, we had to wait. We had to wait and we had to pause some things because we're not sure of the total amount of budget we'll be getting for this quarter. So that's the part I didn't like. I don't know what can be done about it, but yep. Well, I don't have suggestions right now. Maybe later I'll put that in. Thanks.
All right. You took my advice. I was not planning that you should take the advice. I just wanted to start. All right. All right. So I knew that I said that I was going to call Sucre, but I think that I can just swap between thick voices and sweet voices. So I think we find another thick voice now. So Clement, are you up for your trousers? So you have 3 trousers here. You have the green trouser, you have the pink, I don't know what color is that, and you have the blue. I don't want to call it what Peter called it when we're having a governance session. Love said it looked like male looked from once you saw the my robot. That's how it just looks. All right, Clement, do you want to go down? Anybody? All right, I'm just calling names, but please, you can just raise your hands and then just have a go. All right, yeah, I just know that sometimes people want to be encouraged, to be pushed, and all of that. So, Sucre, if Clement is unavailable at the moment, anybody, anyone?
Yeah.
All right, my mentor to the rescue. Thank you. You have the floor.
All right. What I did, what worked well, first of all, was I think for what GMO and Love has said, yeah, the fact that we adhered to the time frame. I think most work groups adhered to that. I think we had more core contributors giving their concerns or not in this round, this quarter. We what else again? Yeah, it made us to be more inclusive within our core groups. Help work groups to talk about their budgets in their work groups before bringing it to the governance meeting. Yeah, that worked well too. That didn't work well. Just like Love said, yeah, it made some work groups to pause while we're waiting for the budget to be fitted. And also the fact that there were some budgets that were I don't know the right word to use right now, but they had outrageous sums. Let me put it like that. So outrageous budgets that made us to go into 3-4 iterations to work it out. And yeah, that's what I can think of for now. Maybe if I remember something else, I'll put that on the mirror board. Yeah, for suggestions, I think we need to get the treasury policy going. Probably, I don't know if there could be like a benchmark where that proposals are not going to go beyond in terms of amount, because that was like a major reason, major topic this round. So maybe we could talk about that, and see how we can improve in that area.
The request for a bit of clarification, because benchmark the amounts is what I typed down, but this is a bit not that's mostly on me, but
yeah, sorry, I didn't get it, Peter. What did you say?
well, right now I've got get treasury policy going, benchmark the amounts, but I'm not sure if that I don't think that properly captures. So if you could clarify a little more.
Yeah, she was saying to put a cap on what can be requested.
Yes,
something like that.
Yeah, to put a cap on what a work group can, because we had some outrageous sums that made us to go into different meetings trying to work it out. So yeah, that's one of the suggestions. I don't know. It's something that we talked about. That's what I feel. Yeah, that's it for now. I think someone else has to talk. Yeah, thank you, Aya.
All right, thank you. No, thank you, Secretary. Thank you so much. Okay, so moving on. I think I'm on the clock. Love, you have to tell me when my time is up so that I would gladly leave the stage for you. I know that by the time you come on board, everybody will be warmed up and talking and ready to talk. No, Love, that was not the agreement. So we just have to stay with the contract. All right, thank you, Secretary. That was really insightful. I think that Treasury has a lot of role to play in Q4 from what we've seen so far with Q3 iterations. Definitely. All right, I can even say that there's a peep sneak of a proposed policy, but I mean, Treasury people will talk about it in Treasury session. So yeah, who wants to go next? I'm giving the person who's going next the option of not putting his name on the board. All right. So who wants to go? Suso. I call Suso. I called Suso. I didn't see any hands, so I'm calling. Suso. I called D. All right. So while I'm waiting for Suso to yield, to hearken onto my voice, I think I have to go and find somebody else to hearken onto my voice. All right. So
hello.
Oh, okay. Finally, I mean.
Yeah,
we can hear you.
Okay. From my own end, I just want to comment on the not necessarily much, but very few points, and I'll be commenting on the more of the.
Do you want your name on the board? Do you want your name on the board?
I didn't get it.
Yes, we can, but it looks like you're not hearing us. Do you want your name on the board?
Oh, no problem. So I just want to I just want to comment on a few things,
All
which would
right.
be on the anonymous,
Okay.
and then also I first of all, I'll just have to comment on saying that I really appreciate the fact that everyone has been really up and doing to making sure that their guilds and their work groups are approved for the budget. Their budgets have been approved, and I want to also comment that it wasn't really nice for the anonymity because it really made most things and most work groups frustrating. And I would love to encourage that we continue to try as much as possible to be open to this consensus because it's really bad when we really don't know the actual idea and reason why someone would want to put up a consensus and then he's not in the meeting or she is not in the meeting. I really appreciate you do better on that. And I want to give kudos to each and every one of us.
All right. All right. Thank you, Fiso. Thank you. For a second there, I thought you were just talking about what worked well. Then I reprocessed and I saw that, oh, okay, so you were talking about how you do not think that anonymity worked well for resolving concerns. Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right. So now I need a taker. Now I need one hand to be up. One hand to be up. Vani, you should have the floor. I mean, I think, oh, Collie, please go ahead. Collie, please go ahead. I saw your hand now. Don't put it down. Don't put it down. Yeah, please go ahead.
I really don't have too much to contribute. I wasn't involved too much in the process, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I watched it happening and I thought that everyone really came together and got things out in time. And it did seem like it was a positive outcome.
Oh, thank you so much, Colin. I think this is the part where I take over, right, Ayo?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I thought you would never come up. I'm glad you're here.
Ayo, please go first. Tell us what you think or what you thought about the process.
Are you kidding right now? You're going to use your card like that? You're going to use your card immediately? You're not going to even try?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So please put my name and please caps lock preferably. Caps lock preferably. All right. So what worked well? Thank you, Gita. What worked well? I think that for me, it's like a paradox. The things that I think worked well are also the things that I think didn't work well, which basically means those are the same things that I think should be improved. And for me, what I really think worked well is the consent, the consenting, all right, the consent. So that people get to read and then make opinions or judgment calls or inquisitions into a particular budget or report. I think that's just really good. I think that feeds a certain type of consciousness, which improves the overall process, the whole budgeting iteration system. So I think that's really something that I think works well. All right, I'm trying not to repeat what everyone ourselves worked well. The timeline definitely was a good one. I remember that work groups started talking about reports and budget right from early June, and people were like, so I mean that's quite good because the fact that you start talking about the next quarter budget early also means that the consciousness gets on the work group or guilds to perform and execute what they have planned for the quarter in session. So I think that's for me the angle how the timeline worked well. Now, what didn't work well also the consent, and I think that now, so it's very easy to criticize. All right. Now, anonymity as a core contributor is supposed to help us to not have to face maybe backlashes or strain relationships and things like that. It's supposed to help us reduce subjectivity. But I think that people also have to be responsible with how they push, their concerns, especially in the name of anonymity. All right. Now, I'm already talking about what didn't work well. So, sorry, Peter, I thought I mentioned. I'm already talking about what didn't work well. So it's same. It's also the same thing. All right. So I think that if we do anonymity on first iteration, that's fine. And anonymity may have to probably be removed for second iteration. So I think I have to repeat all things I said because I need it to be clear. So concerns in the consenting process is good because it puts consciousness to deliver, consciousness to discuss, consciousness to explain on the budget proposals. So that worked well. It didn't work well because there's a certain responsibility that should go with anonymity, and I don't think that I saw that so much there. And then so people just put stuff, and then it becomes difficult to deal with. So that did not work well. All right. Now, as a suggestion, anonymity is good, and I think it will work for first iterations because people can generally make adjustments in first iterations without necessarily even discussing the concern. But when it gets to second iteration, then sometimes it may be necessary for the person who put the concern out to come and discuss the concern so that it can be satisfied or so that it can be dealt with. So that's my suggestion. Anonymity for first iteration, and then anonymity removal if it now goes to second iteration, because then discussions have to be had and things have to go. All right, I'm done. Back to you, love.
Thank you, Ayo. Thank you, Ayo. Who would like to go next? Do I see a hand up?
I can.
Okay, nobody's
go.
hand is up. Vanny, would you like to go?
Yeah, I can go next. Right. Let me think. What was I going to say?
Vanny?
Yeah.
Vanny's already talking. Vanny's already speaking.
Can you not hear me?
All right, thank you. Please go for it.
Can you hear me all right, yeah?
Yes, Vanny, we can hear you. I think Love's network is lagging a bit because there's a
Okay.
certain
All right.
delay.
All right, cool. I thought it was me. It probably is partly me as well. All right, so what I thought was good, I mean, to pick up on what we've just been discussing, I think anonymity is an important safeguard in any process like this. So I'm glad we've got it. And we try to write the form so that an issue that somebody raises can be discussed, even if the person isn't present. We ask, what is the issue that you see and what would need to change in order for you to give your consent. So yeah, it's not as smooth as it could be maybe, and sometimes people do need to come off anonymity at some point maybe, but I think it's important to have it. Another thing I thought worked well this time was requiring a quarterly report. It seemed to make people think a little bit about, has this work group justified what they're asking for? I think that went a little bit too far in that direction, and people were really detailedly nitpicking some things. And I think maybe as we get used to it, it'll be better. But having the requirement for the quarterly report is great. And also, obviously, as others have said, the dates of people getting their budgets submitted was great, a really positive step, and it shows we can do it. Not so good. Yeah, the timeline, it fell apart a little bit, didn't it? After a good start, everyone got their budgets in on time, and then it took ages to actually get things over the line. So, yeah, we obviously need to think a little bit about how we're going to do the process, not just getting the budgets submitted, but the actual process. I wasn't super keen on the many iterations, and I think obviously that's what slowed it down. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't have them, because we do need to discuss things in detail, but I kind of felt we fannied about a little bit. I felt that some concerns, even in round one, were not fully addressed. And I don't know, they weren't my concerns, actually. They were other people's, and I didn't really see them getting fully answered. And it felt like some people did a consent form in round one, and then they didn't really do any more. And if, they weren't in a meeting, they didn't necessarily say whether their concerns were addressed or not. So that's difficult, because when you have that many iterations, you get consent fatigue, and people are kind of like, yeah, I've done it once, I don't need to say it again. So maybe we need to rethink that part of the process a little bit. Another thing I wasn't super keen on is the complexity and maybe even verbosity of some of the budgets and the reports. But I'm really reluctant to template it, because I do look at the variety of the different ways that people do it, and it fits their work group. So I don't know, maybe we just need to think about a range of different templates, or maybe just kind of what kind of things do you need to include? Include them how you want, but just don't give us information we don't need. I don't know. As I think Love said in hers, waiting for the budget fitting lowering percentage was not great. I mean, I can't see how else we could do it, but those work groups that were already across the line, kind of still not knowing how much they had to lose from their budgets, was, yeah, a bit frustrating. I also feel like I've got loads to say about what didn't work. I'm sorry, but it felt to me like not that many core contributors are taking part. I mean, yeah, it was higher than it's been, but we've still got 53 people. Even heard from some people that they didn't even know they were on the list until afterwards. And I just think maybe we're not publicising it or explaining it enough. And maybe we're not explaining why we're doing this process and why we make decisions like this and why it's important. Obviously, there's always going to be some people who are eligible to contribute to the process and just don't want to, but it is really low at the moment, and I think we could do better. And I'd also love to find out why people don't. I don't know how we find that out, but it'd be interesting too. Then, yeah, I'm going on a little bit, I know, but there are a couple of other issues I'd like to raise. Self-nomination is one of them. I don't think there were any particular problems in Q3 with who self-nominated, but I just envisage it as potentially a problem in the future if we just have, right, you self-nominate and you're in, and that's it. I think it's super important to keep that human element where you can self-nominate or somebody else can nominate you, but maybe we have to think about, are there any guardrails to that? Because I'm just like, I wouldn't want a situation where just like, imagine if 20 people just rocked up and said, oh, we want to self-nominate. I wonder if maybe you should have had to be in the program for a quarter before you can self-nominate. That's a suggestion. And then the other one is about wallets. Should you be able to be a core contributor without a wallet? Came to my attention in this quarter that there have been people who have been core contributors without that. Now, skin in the game is obviously more than just money, and I've said this a lot, both in Cardano and here. But so maybe your skin in the game can be contributing and being part of the ecosystem. But I just wonder, are we okay? Have we ever thought about the idea that somebody could be a core contributor with no stake in AGIX or what's going to become ASI. Is that what we want? I'm not sure either way, so I guess my suggestion is we should think about it because we haven't really. Sorry, that was probably too much information, but that's me.
Oh, please don't
No,
apologize.
that's fine. Thank you so much, Vanny. I think I just remembered a suggestion that I wanted to add, Peter. I'm so sorry, you have to go back to my page. I was gonna suggest that maybe we should have some kind of form where people, specifically co-contributors, express why they don't take part in the governance decisions that we make, because I really did wonder about it this quarter, you know. I kept wondering, why do we have 15 out of 53? That's so poor. Well, 20 according to Sukun and Spice, but it was still poor. So I think a form to get the responses might be a good thing. Okay, problem is if you don't do forms, they won't fill in the form. That's true, Vanny. Or is there any other way we could get their responses? I don't know, maybe try CryptPad, try any other thing, you know. That's my suggestion. So who's going to go next? There is no hand up again. Esther Williams, do you want to go for it? Or you, Peter?
I can. If somebody else
All
wants
right.
So do I type what I say? How does this work?
Or you could
I'll
just
type.
type.
I'll type
Okay,
while you're.
yeah.
Let me just get into the. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
Vanny.
okay. I'm there.
Yeah, by design now, a couple of people took a turn already. There's going to be some overlaps. For me, the main thing that worked really well was the amount of work that was done in a crazy short time period. We were well aware that, well, there was this somewhat of a, not really pressure, but yeah, felt like it was close to being done before the quarter started. And that, to me personally at least, felt like a very cool thing to achieve. That also resulted in very short timelines. And it was, yeah, great to see how much work was being done to actually make that happen. We didn't fully have the process in time before the start of the quarter, but yeah, multiple iterations. Yeah, that's hard to plan. But that yeah, just the amount of work being done was really good. And connected to that, how early in the quarter we were finished with the whole iteration. Also, on anonymity, people actually stepping up while they made anonymous feedback, and then being in the meeting and actually discussing it and resolving concerns. That was really good to see, I feel. Then not so well was the speed of getting through the second and third iterations. To me, at some point, well, I think to most of us, at some point, it started to feel a bit like, ah, shit, are we still not done yet? How long can we go? Almost. And connected to that, also the participation percentage, especially in later iterations. The first one, yeah, you can see on the sheet, the numbers are all there. I think was like 16 or 19, I think, in the highest. Yeah, that's still not a super high percentage, but on 51 people, it's about 40%, which is, you always want it to be higher, of course. But yeah, that's good. But then if you see in the third iteration that some proposals only get checked by 4 people, yeah, that's not good. I mean, yeah, that's just a small amount of people. Yeah, suggestions on that. I don't have a concrete suggestion, but I would say at least we should consider what we can do if somebody opts in to be a core contributor. But then apparently at some point just doesn't vote. Like, let's say you have like we do have the information on who participated. So theoretically, at some point, we could establish, there's been 3 iterations in a row now where you did not participate in the process. And I don't want to push anything like, oh, we should do that, this or that. But yeah, just having some discussion on it, I think that would be my suggestion there. I think that's it.
All right. Thank you so much, Peter. Guys, we are, oh my goodness, we are beyond time. So I think I'll just take 2 more people so that we can all go home and rest. I'm sure most of you want to jump off here. So I'll go with Asa Williams. Do you have something to say? Okay, she's here.
I think what worked is the fact that the governance core, I think that worked a lot because it helped work group to helped work group refine their budget more easily, and it also helped us to understand what each work group is trying to do, you know, because when you put out those consent forms, sometimes these like for example the achievements for Q1 sometimes is not really articulate, so those governance call actually helped a lot, and I think that was like a good one. And it also helped, yeah, that's like what worked in my own suggestion. And what didn't work, I don't think none of the process didn't work. It all worked in my own opinion. Like there was really no except for the low turnout on consent that's been given, which would now draw us back to the core contributors and if they are truly active and if there are going to be like a review as to if they can drop someone off from being a core contributor, or if they can open it up to other participants that has been active one way or the other, even if they are fairly new. So I think that's my own 2 cents in it. But I loved this time process. The only downside was it just was too long. It was getting too long and it was eating, yeah, time management. It just kept on eating into African Guild meeting time, and it was really messing up the schedule. So I think sometimes, and I think there was too much of emotions, and it got emotional at one point, and it was like people were against each other, stuff like that. And I think what Vanny was suggesting, that maybe there shouldn't be any form of self-nominating, is also good. And what I didn't also like is if you put out a suggestion and when it's being trashed, it's good for you to come up and, you know, defend it. And if, yeah, come up and like defend it and be open about what you put in, why you said this shouldn't be this and all of that. So yeah, I think those are just my opinion. But overall, I love this process.
Thank you so much, Asa. So I said I was going to pick one more person, but I don't know who to pick here because I don't know any other co-contributor here. So I'm just going to pick any random person. Please don't be offended if you are new here. Just, I don't know, say something, I guess. I'll go with Clement said he's Iovani, so he can't speak. Zalfred Mfon, would you like to say something?
Were you talking to me?
No, I was talking to Zalfred, but if he is not available, you could go for it.
Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine for now. I'm just, yeah.
Okay. I don't think Zalfred wants to speak. I'm available, but I'm quite in a lousy environment. Yeah. I don't want to have to force anyone. So I guess we might have to move to AOB. And you could always jump into the Miro board later, guys. If you don't want to speak now, just jump in there. Put in what worked and what didn't work and your suggestions for the upcoming quarter and what we should do better, just jump in there. AOB. Or we could just close. I mean, we're 10 minutes behind time. What do you think, Peter? Should we close?
Yeah, I do want to wrap up shortly, but also I'm in general a big favor of having a little check if there's somewhat short topics maybe to add to the call. Also, Sergio, thanks for joining.
Nice to meet you, Sergio. Take care.
Absolutely. Might be a bit of a weird session to join as a newcomer, seeing this is a bit of it's a atypical town hall, let's say. But yeah, quick check on the room. Are there any quick questions or small topics? Like we won't do a 15+ minute discussion. Sure, go for it.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, when are we having the town hall update? I think that is next week, if I'm correct.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And when are we going to have the work group sync call?
The Thursday after that. So in a way, yeah, basically for the work group updates town hall, that's just the last town hall of the month, whatever the calendar says. And then the work group syncing call is the Thursday after that. So that would be 1st of August, 2nd. Let me check how August works. 1st of August. Does that make sense?
Sorry, what date?
That would be the 1st of August. So just the Thursday after the work group update tunnel.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's good. That's all right.
I do need to put it in
Thank
the
you.
calendar still, I see. Or in the calendar, sorry. I'll do a check on the time slot, like if we should take the same time slot as we did before, or I think that does make sense, to be honest. But that was at 10 UTC Thursday. It's not so US friendly slot, but for now I'll add it to the calendar as a placeholder, I guess. It's in there. All right. Anybody else? Any topic? Any question? Any idea to share? A song?
Well, I kind of want to, I don't know, should I say emphasize on what Vanny said about us having to discuss not happy birthday game. There's no birthday today. Vani said something about us having to discuss. Vani, stop making me laugh. Us having to discuss the self-nomination process of getting the core contributor role. And I just want to emphasize that I think that needs an open governance call. Like, we need to sit down and talk about it. That's my suggestion, because I noticed that there wasn't a smooth part or a document on what qualifies as the right part to nominate yourself and get the role. It was a bit off-putting to see people coming and I don't know. I just feel we need to discuss it. I don't know. That's just it.
That could actually work as a topic alongside what Peter raised about, people accepting the core contributor role and then never taking part in a governance process. And just like, do we need to ask them why, is what the barriers are? So that kind of maybe dovetails with self-nomination.
Yep.
I would say but in general for the open governance workgroup sessions, the way I would think is easiest to go about suggesting agenda items would be to just post it in the Discord channel. I will just post this there because then everybody can see and has info, knows what the agenda items would be, and then if at some point you just think you're doing something completely unrelated and you think to yourself, this is a governance topic we should talk about, just throw it in the channel. It will get picked up.
Could I suggest having an agenda doc that people can just post things in, because things get lost in a channel if you post, and just having them all in one place may be easier. Don't know.
Yep, agree. Because I sometimes have an idea to share, and because there's no doc to actually put it in, I tend to forget when I come to the governance call. So yep, that doc will come in handy. Just wanted to notify everyone that people are jumping off.
Yeah, fair. I mean, it's getting quite apparent we're close to wrapping up, right? So can't blame people. If you have some more time to spend over the coming days, I would really want to suggest you check out the latest live stream on Singularity on YouTube about this hardware. It's I missed some portions of it. I will have to rewatch the full thing. It's very information packed and interesting stuff. And well, as per usual, thanks all for being here and sharing your feedback, because that's how we learn. Without those, we're nowhere, and we're just doing the same old thing every time. So yeah, thanks a lot for being here, and hope to see you on one of the upcoming community calls over the week. And also thanks to both Love and Aya for.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Aya. Thank you.